Good morning. I was sitting here thinking about the things that have gone on in the last 48 hours because I haven't done a video. And I was shuffling my deck of cards. And I was just splitting the deck, like I wasn't pulling anything on purpose. Just going like this and looking to see. Lots of Earth Guardians, lots of Pentacles, and then the High Priestess, wisdom of the sacred. The weird synchronicity with that card is it showed itself to me at 707, 7, the sacred, the mystic, the shaman. 7 is the completion of contracts with the divine. Seven plus 7 equals 14. And 14 reduces to 5, which is my chaos code. So, chaos that brings wisdom from the divine. A tower moment that opens the crown chakra. So, let's see. Let's see what the message is for the collective this morning. See what wants to come through. Also, it might be important to note that Martina McBride's song, This One's for the Girls, is on the radio just as I turned it on. I was going to just read for myself. So this is a divine feminine message. We have a celebration with the 4 of light codes. Traditionally in tarot, this is the 1111 card. We're celebrating the foundations. Because 1111 equals 4. The foundations that bring us to an understanding of ourself with the High Priestess. One is the self, one is the singularity. It's an alignment of source with the higher self and the lower self. At the bottom of the deck is return to the mother tree with the 10 of light codes. So we 4 and 10. Ooh, sorry. 4 plus 10 equals 14. Chaos. Ten is also a completion number. It's the singularity plus the 0 point. You have come into alignment with source. Not only do you recognize yourself as a fractal of source, but you now know that you are the creator. You're not only the creator and the creation, but you're the path. When we're talking about the singularity, you have just realized that you're looking into the matrix instead of with the matrix as a lens. Instead of wearing the rose-colored glasses, you're looking at the world looking through them. Interesting. This return to the mother tree is interesting to me. Give me a second. It says you have arrived at a completion point. It's time to recharge and reflect. Are you carrying unnecessary burdens? Discern what's gold and what's lead and what can be released with love. Oh, I know why I was supposed to look at this. Someone important came into my life once and gifted me with, or gifted me much growth, awareness, and activation, and more baggage than I could have imagined. I put him on a pedestal as he had many magical abilities and cultivated himself through a full life. He also had an array of trauma, which sometimes made him quite volatile. However, I took on board everything he said. I dismissed the parts of myself that called for me to honor my truth, and it took years for me to see that there was as much healing in his personal, undealt with trauma as there was pain. It was all one and the same. I share this story with the hope that it resonates with your understanding of this card. Sometimes when we look up to others, we assume they know better than us. In doing so, we hand over our power and truth. This is often true for us as children, subconsciously taking on our parents' trauma alongside all the helpful stuff that they teach us. We bleed on our kids. So it's the chaos. It's the chaos that comes into our lives that we allow. It's that final sword in the back, and this card is asking for rest in the mother tree. But I'm also seeing this card as not only returning to the mother tree to rest, but returning to the mother tree because you are realizing that she's part of you just as much as you are part of her. Think Avatar, when they plug into the tree and they're able to use that life force to resurrect the soldier. Yeah, so this is actually pretty fucking awesome. What else do you want? Okay, I'm hearing that some of you may have invited this chaos in, not through a romantic partner like in the story, but maybe through friends. Maybe you thought they were at a higher level of awareness than they actually were. That they talked a good talk, but at the end of the day, you were starting to realize that something was off. Maybe you've detached like I've detached. I no longer, from the world, I mean, I no longer watch the news anymore. I haven't watched the news in probably 5 years. I find that the news is the biggest programming tool that the Matrix has in social media. So maybe that friend of yours is posting on social media some pretty gnarly stuff. Maybe some radical right-wing, left-wing things that you don't agree with. Misinformation, articles sharing half-truths. Maybe some pretty raunchy mockery memes and spoof videos that are meant to tear down a celebrity or somebody like that, and you don't agree with that. Somebody on a spiritual path has enough discernment to know that they should fact check those articles themselves before sharing them. And any kind of mockery or malicious meme sharing is proof that that person is still trapped within the Matrix. So you had an expectation that they were much more advanced than they actually were. Or you have a partner who's doing some fucked up things and they're very asleep, and nothing that you say or do is bringing them into any awareness at all. They're still very, very, very asleep. You're no longer trying to fix. You're no longer holding any kind of regard for those people in your life. You're just existing and observing them in their bubble, but you're not interacting with it. And we have the Paladin of Earth Guardians with Mountain. Just like trudging up a mountain to get to the top, it's slow and it's work. Getting to that understanding that you don't have to fix people. You don't even have to try to alter anything about them. You're not controlling them. You're not fixing them. It's hard work to break those habits because they're habits. It was something that used to bring us safety, but now it's just an annoyance. And you're so self-aware that you're starting to see yourself doing those things in real time. And it was really, really hard work to get there. I'm seeing vultures, and I'm hearing that the energy has been recycled over and over and over again, and now it's finally integrated so it can. I saw the Ace of Earth Guardians right before I turned this on. I told you I saw a lot of Earth energy. Yeah, with the return to the mother tree, it's no longer being recycled. Like a cow chewing its cud, it vomits it out of the stomach and chews it again, swallows it, does that again, over and over and over and over again. the cud is finally digested enough that it passes into the intestinal tract and out the other end. And that's ready to return back to the mother tree, to go back into the soil so that way it can grow a new seed. It's ready to be integrated with the mountain. Yeah, the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, the Paladin of Portals. You see what the bridge is, where you are able to interact with the matrix and where you should just stay outside of it. You're going through the spiral now. Something about a falling out with people who presume that you're saying things and it's triggering their ego. And you've mastered how you respond to those situations. You're no longer feeding reaction. Reaction and reaction produces more reaction, and you're seeing these people react to the things that you say. For me, when this happens, I actually get kind of giddy, because in that moment of being triggered, these people, they're forced to fucking grow. You're either going to grow or you're going to trap yourself in a loop. And I'm giggling about this because I wanted to talk about the last 48 hours when I started this video. Because I watched a friend of mine go through this. And I was kind of upset because I was like, man, he is nowhere near as far along on the journey as I thought he was. I was holding an expectation that he was just like me, and he's not. And I thought I lost that person this week. Well, day before yesterday. He was saying some shit, and it all had to do with politics. And nothing that I said that triggered him had anything to do with politics. I'm not interested in politics. I don't give a fuck. That shit does not affect my immediate life right now. Ever. There's nothing that I can do about it. They made that perfectly clear in the 2020 election. There is nothing that any of you or me can do about that. So why are we even fucking worried about the politics? That's none of my freaking business. So yeah, so he was like super triggered because I was like, you know, for somebody who studies, let's say Eckhart Tolle or Alan Watts, for somebody who reads those books, you haven't detached at all. You're observing the matrix, not the politician's shadows. You're observing the matrix. That was not appreciated. And he made it about politics. And I went silent. I know that there was like 20 paragraphs by the time I opened up the chat. And I didn't respond to shit. He was trying to make it seem like he was a justice warrior, and I understand that thought process. I do, because been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But it was a mask that he was wearing because he had a perception that he was viewing the world through. A perception. This is your reality. You get to choose what you see, how you live, how you interact with everything. This is your reality. Are you going to allow the thoughts and opinions of other people to skew your reality? Personally, their thoughts and opinions are none of my goddamn business. After all that shuffling, Mountain's still on the bottom of the deck. We've got the Lovers. With loving and compassion. Yes. Yes. I love myself enough. Now, this is me. I love myself enough to see when I'm allowing other people's perception to skew my perception, catch myself, rewind, and move back into the present moment. Because I love myself in that way, changing my reaction into a response, or lack of response for that matter, is an act of love for the other person. It is a 100% act of love for the other person, because I am very aware that my shadow bites. The Two of Earth Guardians. We're going to wrap this up. This says macrocosm. Get yourself to the top of the mountain so that you can stay in the higher levels of perspective, where you can see out into the macro of everything. Because being able to perceive other people's emotions are just them projecting something that they don't like about themselves. So therefore, you're truly seeing their pain, their trauma. And that's also none of your business. But because you're seeing that, you can release the desire to unleash your dragon. Ladies, I love you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.